I think running a business in the Philly area for young athletes has been, more than I ever thought, like, rewarding. I was, a player in the area. I'm 31 now, which is crazy, but for for 21 years as a youth player, and you always think, like, I'm gonna make it pro, I'm gonna play, like, this is my life. I don't want to coach. Coaching's for people who aren't good at it. And then, like, kind of bridging that role, still playing, but also coaching, and then finally, like, owning the business. That's training up the kids. It's a little bit scary. It's like a parent moment. Like, I do feel like I have like 500 kids, and like I'm so excited and happy when they succeed, when they're like, telling me they're making new teams. Like, it's become a really cool experience, and it's actually got me excited for, like, having my own family one day, and it's taught me. It's taught me a ton. And I wouldn't say I was a selfish kid, but I think a lot of guys are very, like, egocentric when we're young and, like, want to play and want to be pro and want to do it all yourself, and then to kind of, like, revert back, be an educator, be providing, be opening up space for other people to, like, chase their dreams. It's been really, really, really cool.
As you've been giving back, have you been able to kind of see in the young people you're coaching now things that you used to think of when you were that age?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the like, hard work, determination, the need for thirst for more knowledge, more networking. These kids are, like, honestly, like, that's probably the best thing they're figuring out is, like, social media. Chris knows this guy, Derek knows this guy, that he went to college here, his girlfriend went to college here, maybe I can, So I think, like, the quest for, like, success they seem to be really sharp with that, and, like, they know, like, okay, what do I ask? What do I need to work on? Like, that seems to, or maybe I'm just, like, young in the game, but that seems to be so forefront. When I think of myself as a young kid, like, I just showed up, played, shook the coach's hand, went home. But yeah, like, they seem to be way more in control of their own dreams, goals. I think podcast, social media shows how much you can, like, do now as an individual, and not just, like, go get the job for the factory and that's your life. I think a lot of kids have, like, pretty grandiose, maybe even unrealistic dreams. And I think, part of our job, I think, is to be okay with that. And, like, hey, if you want to try to play pro, if you want to go to a really high-end D1 school, we're here to, like, give you that environment and at least show you, like, you're not cut out for it, or you are. And you could, litmus test that against the person next to you. This person is recruited. This person is on the national team for U15. Like, that's the standard.
How much of going pro or semi-pro for a young athlete has to do with, like, business skills, like marketing or networking?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a part. You have to be able to kind of have an understanding of the field. You don't want to be, like, really quiet and like, not sticking up for yourself and not promoting, marketing yourself. Your social media should be at least, like, probably something. If you are getting those looks, posting, hey, I just finished national camp. I don't think you need all that, but I do think, everything's political. Everything has its angles. And, like, you see a lot of these kids who maybe their uncle is a coach or their brother played national team, or even if it's just as simple as, I play at a local club, and my sister was the best player on the year older, they're probably not going to cut me from the year below. So it's like those connections help. So everything, you can do when you don't have those connections will really help you. And that's social media, networking, knowing a few coaches. Hey, if the coach knows Chris and his family and he's a little bit more willing to stick his neck out for him, like, that's going to help you. And when it comes to pro, national team, that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, you want as much as you can get, because it's not, nothing's going to come down to solely just, like, talent. Unless, maybe if you're, like, a sprinter, this guy's faster than this guy. But if it comes down to, like, pretty even, but somebody has an edge, like, you'll probably go with the person you have more allegiance to,
What was it that inspired you to help young athletes be the best they could be?
I think the honest answer is I loved playing, and I wanted to play pro for so long, and that's kind of what we talked about some of the things I've been doing in my 20s. Like that's what brought me around the world. That's kind of what inspired the want to travel, was like to play, to go, to see, to learn. So that was my primary goal. And you do need money to do that as an amateur or like borderline pro athlete when you're not changing your life with the sport. Your finances aren't really changing. It's more like, okay, I got signed, but I'm making $1,500 a month. So it's like my plane ticket there is more than my whole contract. So like in that regard, you need to make money. And I think for anyone who does a creative job, which I'm going to lump sports in there as like a creative job, you probably will do what you're trying to do on the side to make it. So if you want to be a podcaster, you'll probably like go mic up a set or like do some of the tough stuff. Models will like go be bottle girls or like a server at an event because you're good looking, but you also want to be on the cover of Vogue. So I think soccer player, I was like coaching, and I realized like, I did love it. I was also good at it, but like that was my primary source of income, even though I was trying to play. And then fast forward, you're still trying to play. I mean, time's not running out, but you're definitely like, clock is ticking. Okay, I'll take a few more sessions. I'll work a little bit more. And then pretty soon the balance is equal. And like, okay, I have these opportunities to play. I've been working my butt off here coaching. I enjoy it. The kids are succeeding. I have a good rapport. And then I think I finally, in the last year and a half, like punched that ticket and just was like, I'm good at this and I enjoy it. And it's still what I wanted to do. It's just like, I mean, I've literally judged people who have said this my whole life, but like the whole, like, if you can't do, teach. Like I've always hated that. And I was like, that's exactly for people who quit. And like, I don't think I quit, but I do think like, I just saw it more full circle and realized that it is still what I wanted to do. Like I'm in the field that I love, and I get to put on cleats and like shorts every day, which is cool. But yeah, would I like to be like a player for Arsenal or something or AC Milan? Sure, but like not. So continue to teach.
Tell me a little bit about the clock ticking, and does that give you any perspective on how you've kind of planned your life out? Just kind of the natural, biological factors that result in slowing down as we age or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been realistic. I think I was always like a good player, an athlete. I'm tall, so I thought I had this like edge, but I never thought I was like gonna pad the bank account with like millions of dollars from soccer. But I definitely thought like, I'd have somewhat of a chance to make it. So I kept pushing. Like I pushed later than most. I knew like soccer, like, if you don't have a contract by 24, 25, that's big. Like you're probably like on the back half of the slope there. You know what I mean? So I knew already that I was like, because it sounds so stupid, but 25 is literally like old for not having a contract. So at 28, I was offered like smaller contracts in the US, 29, but I literally was just doing it because I knew that like you said, my plan was like, I know I'm going to get truly outdated, truly like older. Why not like fill it up with as much junk as I can, like travel, hiking, all this stuff. I've just been like, I really do want to like smash as much as I can into my younger years, because you do have a lot of time to work and you have not a lot of time, but you do have like chapters, and I really wanted that chapter to be like, let's go high octane. And I think for me, it was always like I needed to do things around movement. It's funny because now talking, I'm thinking of like all these core concepts that I would like, want to stick by. But yeah, I needed movement, I needed energy, and soccer is like brings all that. Travel, movement, you're working on your body, you're meeting new people, you're getting coffees in Germany, like it's cool. And I enjoyed that way more than like the pursuit of money. But yeah, so, I think you start to like, 30, 31, then I started being like, oh my gosh, like, do I want a family? Do I want a wife? Do I want kids? I still feel great because I treat my body well, but obviously you're not the same. And you're like, okay, I'm a little bit like beat up, like you're always on your feet, and you're like, this is definitely like the time when I've thought about it the most, of like, okay, really work hard on the business, try to set yourself up, and also enjoy that like new grind. Because then you're like, the benefit is you rewind the clock and now you're back at the beginning. You're like an 18-year-old trying to play pro. Now you're like a 31-year-old trying to like make a business that can change people's lives, change your life. So
Unlocked a whole new level.
yeah.
Let's go high octane. It's almost like I think if most people live their whole life like that, it's like, a model, high-end modeling careers, end towards the end of their 20s, or dancers, at 25. That's like, as a high-end ballet, that's done. So it's almost like, you're thinking about your whole life is might be there. So you're compressing as much as you can do in that short time. Tell me a little bit more about how you've planned these chapters of your life.
Yeah, I would say compared to most and my peers and through college and high school, I've probably been the worst at planning. I've always been like, I'm like, I think my LinkedIn for a while said like Derek, and then it usually says your job title. It said like Planet Earth, like some cheesy thing. I actually remember I was playing out in California and some guy that I was like trying to get career advice from, because I've always been ambitious, never lazy, but also like really enjoyed that like hippie lifestyle of like, I'm going to be a van guy and float around. It's been like tossing these two worlds around for so long. So I like motivated, but also like wanted to be of the moment, of the time. And when people were like, what are you going to do? What's your like retirement plan? I'm like, dude, that's so boring. Like get a life. But I definitely am starting to see like that guy in California who told me like, get rid of that, like be smart, have a plan. And, every month, every day I continue to grow. I'm like, okay, like it's not lame to have like hopes, dreams, plans. And like, if you don't speak them into existence, like they're probably not going to happen. So the more I grow up, I'm definitely like, it's not, it just depends on what it is. If you say I want to retire in Florida by 45, that's still lame to me. But if you say like, I want to have a business that runs itself so I can like go do like charity work in somewhere, like that's not lame and that's cool. So for me at least, so I'm trying to get more calculated, more disciplined, and I've enjoyed that. And it's really helped not only me, but my business and kind of like my whole life just be a little bit more sturdy. Like I was definitely, I'd say up until 28, 29, was convinced that I would be like kind of blowing in the wind for way longer. Like that's going to be me, 𝐏𝐲𝐬𝐜, driving the car around, like meeting chicks. Like it's like sounds dumb, but when you're young, it sounds really fun. And like there is parts of it that footlooseness is really nice. And I think life needs that all the time. But yeah, like at some point it's like, all right, guy, it's a little boring. Like you've been, repeating that cycle. Like now what? What are you going to create? What are you going to give back? What are you going to show people like your life was about? And that gets scary when you don't have anything. So I think, that's been the biggest like catalyst has been, you want to like help people. You want to provide space. You want to provide help. You want to have a body of work. And I've always really like admired artists. My dad's an artist. My sisters are all like musicians and stuff. And like having something to show, a song, and a piece of art, like it shows you've been working. It's like proof. If you just like say you are, but you don't have anything, it's like, so yeah, I think that has pushed me into more of like okay, let's have some dreams. Let's like be more disciplined and see where it goes. Still be adventurous and kind of like, free, but have a little bit more of a purpose. And if it changes, it changes, but at least you know where you're going for the moment.
As you're kind of mapping out your life a bit more, creating more kind of structure now, grounding things a little bit more, tell me, where's the adventure? What are you taking risks on?
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest adventure components is the business. I mean, redundant, but it's true. Like every day, especially where I am now, I've went from like working for someone to kind of freelancing in between clubs and stuff to like full-fledged just for me. So now it's like, hey, are we going to run camps? Are we going to try to like, get our stuff online? So it's been fun, maybe not as adventurous, but nice to like gamble with that, create social media posts or like cool videos with good creators. Like it's been really fun for me that that's become like an option of like, oh, I can do some of my art here. I can like get this video, you know, done up in the right way where it shows like we're working hard, we're doing this, get more kids, make bigger camps. So that's been a big kind of like on brand thing for me, would be the business. But then in terms of like my life and who I am, still the same things. Like I try to take as many like random stupid trips as I can with my girlfriend or friends, like hiking Mount Washington. Like if we have 24 hours, like I'll drive up there, do it, come back. Like love those, like, you know, the trips your parents are like, why would you ever do that? Like I love kind of keeping it fun and not planning those, because it's like those are the moments when you realize you're alive, you feel it, you have fires in the woods. Like I'm definitely, you know, still like pretty, what's the word, like impromptu, like just ready to go at any moment. But yeah, I'd say travel, and then like hiking, sport on my own is probably what gives me the most thrill these days. I'm not like commercial fishing or doing things like that like I was, but yeah, enough that it keeps the sanity light bulb like at the right wattage.
You got to plan times to be completely unplanned.
Yeah. And you got to create that space. And I think that's part of the reason I'm so driven with the business, is like the best part about what I do is like I'm here right now. It's a Wednesday morning. Like I can have space and time in each day and every day to like do some creative stuff and not just like punch in, do everybody's work and then leave. So at the end of the day, I do think I'm probably more bogged down than most, because I'm so like preoccupied with all parts of the business because it's my own. But it does leave me tons of like time to say, oh, I want to do this. I want to be creative. I want to do yoga this morning. I want to like, and I really do. I know that I wouldn't exist more than 3 weeks if I was like put into like a rigid schedule, unless it's a rigid schedule that's kind of unknown, like fishing, or I think from a while military was very attractive to me because of the like, you think you're going to be like running around Afghanistan and like meeting people and eating local food. I'm not sure how true that is, but yeah, if it wasn't a job like that and I'm in somewhere like cubicle office, I'm sure everybody has similar opinions, but like, dude, I would last maybe 2 weeks.
It sounds like community is really important to you. You know, you're providing all this space for yourself to enjoy the freedoms and, you know, joys of life, but you also want to provide that space for others too. Tell me a little bit where that kind of like that desire to bring people on these adventures with you came from.
Yeah. I think in relation to the sport and my business, it was always the main goal mission was like, I think I could have been a very different player / athlete if I had the spaces and the belief in me as a younger kid to just like do that, perfect my craft. So when I started running this business and launching like my own things, yeah, there's always been soccer trainers, but for me, it was like, I want to create an enclave, like a spot where like anyone who's really committed, and even if their parents think they're crazy or, you know, their school or classmates think they're crazy, like you could come here and again, rate yourself amongst other people who are trying to do it and be like, okay, I'm good enough. I'm not, I need to work on this. I need to do this. So like kind of a safe haven to really be like unsafe and grind, get the reps, get the touches, get the networking, get the exposure every day. Like that's literally, I feel like what we do is we try to put the best players together. Not to say I wouldn't train players who aren't the best, but it's like for some reason it's just really clicked with like the top. So it's a smaller percentage. I'm not doing volume like some of these companies are, but you come in there, like you're going to work, you're going to have like high-end goalies in the session stopping your shots. Like it's going to be a whole experience, almost like a pro academy, which was kind of my original vision of like, hey, why not try and do it like an academy player would in Europe? Like, let's see if you don't look back. Because I always think like, I wish I had like a little bit more. Like, what if my dad had me here? What if I was doing this? Like, would I be that pro that I wanted to be? Because I always felt special in terms of like mindset, could always work hard, could always like get up early, like loved it, truly loved it, just wanted more. Probably could have been refined big time instead of just like, oh, you're so good, like you're doing so well. It's like, okay, well, maybe I should be doing worse. Maybe someone should put me over here with these guys and be like, oh shit, I gotta kick it up. So I wanted to create that and kind of just give like at least a place where someone could look back and be like, you know what, it was there. It's not my fault I didn't go pro, but it's like ultimately like no one else's. I could have been training here. I could have been doing this. And then that's just like, to me, like the best thing I can provide, because it's not that mine needs to be like super competitive and you have to go pro, but it's like, I want people to feel sincere in their dreams and not like, oh, it's just sport. Like I can just do anything else. Like, yeah, you can do anything else. But if you're going to sing opera, if you're going to, play music, like you want the best teachers, you want the best people around you. You want an environment that is highly tailored to your success. But it's like funny because we all know that and we all speak about the people that maybe had that, but like no one really knows where to find it unless like your kid's selected for something, and which is like 13 kids in the age group. So it's like, how else do you get it? So yeah, I think providing and giving kids like at least like a thing they can hold on to and be like, this is where I could get better. And at least I can chase my dream here. And then if it works out, continue to chase it. Go play D1 at Penn State. Go play pro. But have that bedrock as a child, because that's really where everyone's life in terms of skills or mindset is going to be shaped. Hard work, determination, like it's all going to happen from literally 0, 1 to 18.
It's almost like hard times create weak men, or strong men create easy times create weak men. Yeah. And if you're born during kind of an easy time, where do you find the hard to make you strong? So it sounds like you're trying to help provide. That's like, if you work with me, you'll never wonder what could have been if I pushed myself a little bit harder. Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of people in the space doing that in terms of like really wanting to push kids. And I think kids will like, it's funny because there's always like curriculums for kids, whether it's soccer or anything, that's like, this is what you should be teaching them at this age. Just same with development. Like it's all kind of bullshit. Like there's obviously some truth, but like kids will take a lot and they'll want a lot more. And like you can see, like what did Tony Hawk spend his whole career like trying to land that whatever, the 9 something, like 4 spins. There's a little Japanese kid that can rip them back to back to back to back on the same half pipe right now. It's not that he's better than Tony Hawk or had more determination, but it's like if you push him, if you show him, like they're going to take it, soak it in, and then like double it, triple it, like exponentially be better than their previous, group. So kids can take a lot. They really want to be pushed. They know when you're sincere. They know when you're just like running them through something. So my whole like kind of like MO has been like, no, let's try to make this as real as we can. Obviously it needs to be a business and sustain itself and sustain like, the equipment and like the space and the rentals. But like, let's try to put in and not just make like a place where kids can run around, but like, can you truly work here? And can it be a school? Like, I don't know if I have the aspirations to one day do a school, but like that's kind of where it's heading is like, would you do a school? Would you do an academy? Would you do a club? But yeah, I think totally like that quote. I forget who made that quote, but the strong times, weak man. Like it's so true because then you get like pacified. You're on social media too much. You're like, easy living. Everybody's like chilling. And then it's like, okay, but I wish I dedicated some time, some hard work. And to me, like hard work and working out especially for a man, but I definitely think for everyone is like essential. Even if you're not an athlete, like your body needs to be exhausted and then recovered like as many times as you can. And that's going to like clear your brain, allow you some like confidence and just like whatever you're pushing for, it'll help you. Tell me a bit about maybe depression and anxiety that you've seen in young people and how hard training might have changed that or impacted that.
Yeah, I mean, soccer's a sport where like psyche or mindset is always like kind of shaky. It's so performance based where I feel like a lot of other sports, I mean, I'm sure it's in every sport, but it's a little bit more like starting, not starting. Like I feel like when you're like a track star or track athlete or wrestler or kind of like individual, it's like you kind of know when you did bad and good. You have a really good, easy like gauge. Like I didn't run faster than them. I didn't beat them in the wrestling match. But I feel like soccer is like so like like I lost the ball 4 times. I had 2 good crosses. Like you're always like really riding like these performances and kind of like in form, out of form. Like you don't really know, like coach is sitting you, coach is pulling you early. My college recruited me, and then I sat for a full year, didn't travel. So I deal with this stuff every day. Like I thought I was the best player, and now I don't play. And it's like they literally you can tell someone they're bad or not as good as they thought they were, and they'll like believe it. So I think when you go back to the drawing board, work hard, prove to yourself you're fit, or at least like confidence to me, especially physical, I think it all kind of stems from a lot of physical confidence is like not looking good, but like, can you perform? If, you know, for a man too, like, I mean, anyone, if you're on a train and or like a parade and it's busy and something crazy happens and you need to like get you and your loved ones out of there, that's physical confidence to me. It's not just like, oh, I look good on the beach, but it's like, no, I'm like capable. So I think when you're capable in sport and you take care of all the like intangibles, I'm fit, I'm strong, I can jump, I can run, I can cut. You can kind of like hijack that unknown, you know, at least provide yourself that 30, 40 extra % of like concrete. Like I know I'm all these things. Now it's decision based. Now it's performance based. Am I clamming up? Am I getting nervous? But like that can like kind of jet fuel you, like push you into synthetic confidence. And then from there, it's like, you know, yeah, you need the luck, you need the one touch, you need the goal that like maybe shouldn't have gone in but did, and then you're starting to find your streak. But I think hard work and continually showing up and kind of like refining your body and your game, you're only as strong as your days are. So if you had one good game but you've been working like kind of lame, it's probably going to eke out of the seams somewhere. But when you've been like putting in the work, the days are packed, like you fall back to that. I forget the quote. That is a quote. My sister just told me. It's like, you are strong as thy days, which is so true. You wake up and run every day, lift every day, train every day. Like when you're tired in the 90th minute in overtime, when you're at an exam in college, like you will fall back to what you've been doing consistently. So, you know, whatever someone sets out to do, I've always been intrigued by like, why not chase it? If you want to be an actor, chase it. If you want to be like, I feel like high school to me was so like, do what you want. You can go to Bloomsburg. You can go here. Like you can just like keep living. It's like, why not chase something? And then if that hole ends up nowhere, just chase something else. Like I was, you know, passion for me is huge. So yeah, I think depression, anxiety, all this stuff, like immediately fixed with hard work, only because yeah, you could still have some underlying, I'm sure, like chemical imbalance stuff. But like, you know, if you're taking care of your dreams and what you want to do and you're working towards it, like you'll continue to, I believe you'll continue to find the way, whatever that way is. Like there's probably no right answer, but just kind of stopping and staring out, it's stagnant and it's probably creating like bad practices, unhealthy body. So yeah, just like driving into a direction, I feel like can flip those anxious, depressive thoughts.
Tell me the difference between comparing and competing.
Yeah, I guess competing brings, you know, a lot more anxiety and performance nerves, because like, yeah, you can clock a time, you can hit a nice shot in practice, but like there is definitely a switch that's like, this is in front of people, this is for all the marbles kind of thing. So yeah, I think when you can put yourself into those environments in training that are competitive, you can kind of cross that bridge easier. Now, if you're just like training with lesser or playing with lesser and feeling really good about yourself, and then you jump up and you put yourself against like the top, like that comparing will not help you. And yeah, it's like you score 30 goals in the lowest league and then you step up to the top. It's like, so yeah, I think trying to get yourself into the most competitive spots so that when you are presented with the test or the task or the game, you'll at least have a more realistic picture of like where you fit in and like how, you know, what you would need to work on. But yeah, I think comparing is probably a good spot to start for a lot of people. Just like, oh, how do I shake out amongst these people, this group? Yeah, competing definitely brings another edge. It brings, that kind of like variable that no one really knows. Like, well, what are you made of? What's your stuff? Because there are definitely some people that in any field, any realm, any sport do really well in the backyard, but like don't in the game. So performance anxiety or being clutch is definitely rare.
What do your current clients look like right now?
I'd say mostly like the top league, male, female, probably more female, in the Bucks County, Montgomery County, South Jersey area. We have a lot of Union Academy kids. We have a lot of like ECNL girls, which is just like the top league for National League for females. There's also one for boys, but it's a little bit of a different structure. That's more of like the third tier for boys. And I'd say primarily like 7th grade to 12th grade. But then we have like in the winters, we have a lot of pros or like guys who are trying to go pro, girls who are trying to go pro. I mean, this winter we had a lot of like bona fide pro athletes, a few guys on the national team. We have a couple of younger youth national players, which is rare, obviously, because there's just not that many kids who do it. But yeah, I think anyone who just like wants to kind of like push themselves up against, other hard workers who fits in with us. And that's another thing too, is like I give opportunities kind of like an academy. So if you're like a 2010 and you're with me and you're one of my best 2010s, which they'd be like 14, 15 right now, you'll probably be in a session with like in the winter with a pro or like a college, a really high level college. So for them, it's like maybe worth triple, double the experience because they're getting like that strength component, that kind of like playing up a year. And I do believe in sports, like Kobe did this, like a lot of LeBron, like you play up early, your development can skyrocket. Obviously you don't want to be like putting your 3-year-old with 12th graders because that just makes no sense and will crush their confidence. But yeah, if you can get a little bit like rub elbows with some of those older players, stronger, faster, quicker, learn a few things, drop back down, go destroy your own age group, move back up. Like this is where like growth, I think, just is like, exploding.
Can you give me an example or a story of maybe a younger person who is competing alongside a higher?
Yeah. One of my favorite kids I have, his name's 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐭𝐲. Honestly, just like a God-given good talent. Like I think I've helped him a ton. This is what I mean by like what I do. I think I've helped him a ton in terms of provide a framework, a space, a competitive atmosphere amongst players. But like the kid has skills. Like he makes me nervous to defend him 1v1, and he's like very little even now. He's been looked at for the national team. He's in the final pool, so been to camp, like one of the last guys, like essentially U15 national pool. I've had him for a while since he was pretty young, and this is partly to his own credit, he's always been a little underdeveloped. I mean, he's starting to grow up now, but he constantly is playing with players that are faster than him, bigger than him, because he's smaller. But then times that by like 4 because I put him, because he is that good, with, we had Jack McGlynn this winter who's on the U.S. men's senior national team. He's on the Union, just got let go or traded to Houston. But, put Javi with those guys and like, he deals with it. He does his thing. He's got to like maybe be a little bit sharper, a little bit better decisions. And I've done that with him. And McGlynn's obviously like a rare example. Like he does not come every day, but we've had him a few times. So if you put him with college kids, high school kids that are big, strong, fast, like for somebody like Javi, it's just like, okay, decisions a little bit sharper, touch a little bit cleaner, shots a little bit more accurate because the goalie's 5 times as big as the goalie I'm seeing. So like, I just can't imagine that it hasn't helped. Like it's just so much like training with weights on to the nth extent. It's like, this is incredible. Like to watch him succeed, to me, like it's cool to have some of the pros there, but to watch Javi, or like we have a kid, Jackson Fulmer, who's also getting looked at for the national team a year below. Like, he's a skinny, like, lanky young kid. And I know, like, he's going to be big. His dad's big. But, like, to see him play with those kids and make decisions and be smart, it's just, like, it's a dad moment for sure. You're like, wow, this is cool. Because you've been training them up, and then, like, they're pushed against the top, literally the top in the area, in the country. Maybe even, like, in the world in terms of, like, what's the percentage of pro soccer players? Probably very small. And see them battle, compete, make things happen. It's like, this is really awesome. And I would do it if I was just with the pros for sure. But I don't know how long. But to see the young kids join in, it's like, it's literally why I do it. Especially the pickup and the pro pickup in the winter. It's nice to see, oh, I just put a Rutgers girl out there. And she's a fantastic player, D1. But she's playing with like 10 dudes right now that are all pros. So it's definitely a really cool, like, thing to offer your players of, hey, if you deserve this, you'll have like a little bit more to step into and refine. I mean, everybody wants to refine, be polished, be taught, be educated, you know.
Tell me how much building relationships plays into an athlete career.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be, I think in most things you want to be, I guess this is kind of controversial, but liked, like good guy, fun to play with. You're always, unless you're like the top, you're probably always going to need someone to put a word in for you. So a coach or like a player, hey, I'm over at, you know, Red Bulls, and like my old teammate was so good. Like, hey, this kid, you should look at him. He's free. He's a free agent now. Like, this stuff happens all the time. Hey, my old soccer coach for Indiana is now the director for an MLS team. Like, so you want people to like you, to like the way you play, obviously, and it should be merit based. But yeah, I mean, it's life. It's literally like what towns and mafias and gangs, everything's been run on for the beginning of time is like relationships. And if people are willing to stick their neck out for you, because you could be a fantastic player or person, and I guess not person, but you know, fill in the blank in terms of the skill or the field. But if you're an awful person or not fun to be around, you better be really freaking good, because like not a lot of people are going to like take the risk on you. And I think we see that. Like, there's so many NFL, NBA guys that are like fantastic athletes, and you're like, how could they ever be cut? And then like 4 years later, they're cut because they're just like keep doing crazy stuff. I mean, soccer too, honestly, in Europe. But hey, you want to be a good guy. You want to know that like probably the gifts you have are gifts anyway. So like, why not be like humble about them and like let people like enjoy your success with you? And yeah, I don't get the whole like be crazy ego. Like, that definitely bothers me, especially in sessions of mine. If someone's like a jerk to like young kids, I'm like, hey, your job now too. Like, I know you are a pro. I know you want to be a pro, but your job is to also toe the line here and like pull 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐜 up, pull Jackson up. Like, and that's what makes like community and the space fun, and some sports do it really well. I feel like I've heard gymnastics does it well, where like the pros in gymnastics that you see in the Olympics, their gyms are like filled with young kids with them, same time. Like, they all know each other, little family. It's not just like the pros over here. It's like very integrated. And I feel like the more you have that, and you have like the direct look up to the top team, the senior team, Man U to Man U age 8, it's like the closer that relationship, more like it's symbiotic. It's going to grow together. And you're just going to like and soccer's so like growing youth centric. Like, the more you have it just like locked in, the teams that do it right now are the best in the world. Like, they just continue to develop. They know how to scout, but two, they know how to, show them the experience, show them the examples, what they want. By the way, Man U is probably not one of those teams, but there's good clubs in Europe that are not even known by like, the general public, that just like put out heavy hitters. They grow. Union are known for it too. Like, they do grow some really good youth players. It's a good area for soccer.
15 years ago, I got to go to Spain when they were winning the World Cup.
Yeah, that was wild too. It was a good game too, that final against Netherlands, right? Spain's a great example. Spain probably does put out some of the best players. And I just read an article about they just won the U23 in the Olympics, the final. They like smacked France too. It was like bad. But that team, I think 80 to 90% of the team had been together since they were 12. It was like 6 years with the same kids, like training. And in the U.S., it's become a bit of a problem where we like change out a lot. Oh, this kid in California is fantastic. We'll bring him in. This kid's amazing. We'll bring him in. Even when we're locally, that kid's so good, bring him in. But like, you don't know how to, like, one kid's going to get the hormones earlier. One kid's going to get them later. And like, if you start ditching kids, like you're not, making the final, you're not creating the final product with more like intention and love, then like, you don't know. It could just all like squirrel out at some point. So it's cool. Spain's like, I guess like one of the better examples of a youth generator.
Tell me a bit about growth as the unit of the team versus like personal growth, which we've been talking about that a lot today, like pushing yourself, but growth as a team over many years together, going from like 8th grade up until.
Yeah, it's a good question, especially for what I do, because I'm like definitely on like the personal, like individual side, which I think is why there's like a niche for my business, is like so much of it's team oriented. They're like, kids need some love. Like they need like, hey, I need to work on my left foot 100 times today because I don't have one. Like I need a left foot. I need a right foot. I need to learn how to win the air. So I think individually, like there needs to be room for growth, and the clubs, I don't believe, provide enough of it, but they kind of can't because the team needs to look out for the team. So it's like the success of the team needs to matter most, or else it won't exist more. So like I don't blame coaches or clubs. I think the biggest thing I'd say to coaches and clubs that are like in this area would be like, hey, guys like me have a big role in a lot of these players' developments. You should probably like include it more, maybe even do your own things, own private stuff, like, which would honestly hurt my business, but like that would be good advice to them. Of like, I've actually went to a few clubs and been like, hey, like I'll run like a skills kind of side thing because like you need the individuals built so your team can be, like I always say this to the teams that I help train. Like I do a couple of freelance teams. I'm like, your coaches expect certain things. If you're like an orchestra and the conductor comes in, it's like they expect the violinist to know how to play like the notes. They can't go teach you that right now. They could, but they can't. So like when you go into a team atmosphere for soccer, like your coach expects you to receive a pass so that he can say, hey, our tactics are to play wide, go back into the middle, and then go wide again. Whatever their scheme is, at the highest, at the lowest level, the coach will have a plan. You're supposed to like execute. If you don't have the touch, the left foot, the passing ability, the shooting ability, like, of course there's going to be mistakes, but like the coach doesn't know what to work with. And then it may become like ugly or long soccer, or like whatever. I mean, again, it's my world. It's definitely not everybody else's, but that's kind of like, how that shapes up with the teams and individuals. It's got to be separate, but you have to find a way to meet more.
What does giving look like to you?
I think giving, not just I've definitely made this very soccer-centric, but I guess it's all in my mind lately. But giving, since I was a young kid, like you always feel really good when you can give, experiences, whether it's gifts or just like going somewhere with someone or giving opportunity, like it kind of blends into that providing kind of like concept, but like, allowing someone to enjoy the gifts and the opportunities that you've had. And then you start to like see it from both lenses. You're like, oh, so, people have allowed this for me. Like my parents have gifted me with free time to play soccer, with a house to live in, like with, a lifestyle. And I think the more you feel humbled by that, the more you want to do it for other people. And like to see, I guess it's hard to quantify for me, but the feeling of giving is it definitely supersedes like getting or succeeding to me. I think the more I succeed, the more you can give, and it's like a cool little relationship, but you just feel like really proud to be like alive, to be able to help it's definitely, it's almost selfish because it does feel really good. You know what I mean? But it's like, I think like probably a good selfish because you're helping others. But I wouldn't say I'm like a sicko about it and like just want to give to like feel good. But it's like, no, every time you do, you happen to feel a bit lighter and like a little bit more, I guess, like content and happy with this whole experience as a whole. Cause it really is like a wild, you know, life. And the fact that we're all here and we're all talking about things like this, it's just like when you really step back, you're like, oh, this is like, that kind of makes you feel more human, more a part of a system, not a system, but like a experience that we're all in together.
It's almost like a team, part of a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say brings you back down a lot. And when you, not only doing it, but when you can start wanting to do it, it's like a really nice time of life, I feel like, or moment when you're like, oh, I like want to give opportunity. I want to like, you know, give money to help a thing. I want to, you know, discount this kid's sessions because they can't afford it. Like whatever that is, it's just like nice to be in a spot where you can start helping and like, yeah, I mean, who am I to say I'm like gifting? But you know what I mean? It's like you're just trying to give some of your time, give some of your energy, give some of your focus to other people that have dreams and hope that they'll do it too. But I wouldn't say I'm overly obsessed with that because I don't even know if I think that far ahead, but I do believe that would happen. You know, people will see, hey, Chris really cares about us. You know, one day I'm going to like pay it forward.
In my industry, I don't know if you see this as much with you, but probably, you know, maybe hoarding team members or information. But in my industry, certainly there's a lot of like, you know, keeping like a fear, like, you know, I want that client, so I'm not going to like give that name out or whatever, like keeping things internal. But the business owners I see that really succeed are the ones that give a lot to their competitors, to their friends, to everyone, because then they get seen as a source of good, a source of, and it's just something that people want to be around. That people want to do business. They trust people that give.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think about this concept daily, weekly. Like I've been in the fitness space for a while. I taught a little bit in New York, and my boss used to always say, like, you want to be amongst everybody else that's trying to do what you're doing. Like you want to be like symbiotic. You don't want to be like, oh, it's, if you go to my gym and not, if you go to their gym and not my gym, like we don't want you. It's like, that's crazy. Like with kids, with clients, like I want to be the one that's like always there for them. And like, yeah, of course it's going to hurt your pride maybe if like someone doesn't want to use you or doesn't want to work with you that used to, or like someone heard about you and they're like, nah, we don't like that guy. Like that's going to make you like not feel great. But I would never want someone to feel like they have to be with me, or like I always have been a big proponent of like, hey, there's some good soccer trainers in our area. We should like be pushing each other up. Like I'll tell where I used to work, I'll be like, hey, if you have a younger kid, like way better off there. Like I'm with you on that. Like I want to enjoy life, enjoy the business part of it, the gatekeeping and like it's way. And I definitely seen that if you're like open and nice and kind and generous, like it comes back to you tenfold for sure.
Tell me a little bit about getting out there in the world into nature, bringing people into nature. Do you ever do any exercises with your clients, you know, get out and explore, go hiking and stuff? We've
done like a few with my older kids. Like a lot of the professional kids are like some of my best buddies now. A little bit younger than me, but my girlfriend's 25 and she's friends with a lot of the guys that we train with that are pro. So we'll do like runs in the woods, like hill climbs, hikes. We do like hot yoga together. So like that's always been a part of me, regardless of soccer. If like people would be like, oh, what's Derek up to? Like he's going to call you up and ask you to like hike some mountain in the winter, like ice climb or mountain bike. Like I just love that stuff. Even though I'm probably not like the best at all of it, I feel like I'm always like ready to go for it. Just that like preparation and like getting outside and giving yourself that like task. We're going to swim and then we're going to run. And then like, so yeah, I wouldn't say I include it as much with my kids, but yeah, we'll try once in a while to like in a summer camp, like, hey, we're going to take a run today instead of the first hour of technical training, you know, through the woods or something. But yeah, most of it's like in indoor facilities, so it's tough. But yeah, if I was running like a full-fledged academy and I was in charge of like, you know, a whole school, I would definitely be doing like tons of outdoor stuff, because I think it's such an important part of this experience and humanity, and it's literally what we're all cut from. And yeah, when you've been on the phone and you've been on the computer and you've been working and you've been in the car, like nothing brings you down like woods or like a hike or just sitting by like the river, something like that. It's just like stars. So for me, I always feel the best I've probably ever felt in my life in terms of like connection and wholeness and presence was fishing. And you don't have cell service. You see the sun rise and set every day. And the weather is very critical to your day's plans. It's pouring. I gotta be like protecting myself from this weather. The boat is like about to sink. Like, so you feel super tapped in and like hyper aware, and it's to the right stuff. It's not to like, you know, in YouTube or something.
Bringing things back down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally a human. Like, if all this stuff was gone, like, people still existed back then. Like, without the car, without the electricity, without the phone, they, you know, picked berries, and they probably really enjoyed themselves and had like great meals by a fire and like laughs and like, you know, things that we all kind of want and would like on Instagram. Like, I always thought that funny. Like, even when I was like college, I never had social media actually until my business, but I'd always like kind of make fun of people, which is probably ignorant, but I'd be like, all these people would like a photo of like friends by a fire with surfboards. But like the second you call them up, you're like, yo, we're going to go to the beach, we're going to camp, and then we're going to wake up and swim. And they're like, I'd love to, but like, yeah, I can't. You're like, it's a lifestyle, and it's hard. And then those decisions like have a little bit of uncomfort, but like fishing, all these things, like they have so many benefits, so many rewards, so many like routines. Like, I think that's why surfers and fishermen and people like that love it, is because like you're up, the sun is rising. Like, there's so many little nature components connected that you can't get away from it. It's like the stuff. It's good.
How do you love on these kids? How do you love on your girlfriend, your family, your community, the people in your life? What does love mean to you?
I think love is probably like, while I can't really define it, it's the only like generator that makes sense for all of this. So I think without the hope or the compassion of others, like, I don't really know why we would like all be here. Like, I'm definitely, you know, a believer in God and stuff, and I do believe that love is the source of what this whole thing is about, and why it would even be worth enjoying and living and searching and trying for new things is kind of like, you know, the glue that sticks everything together. So I think from me to the people I work with, it's like just trying to give my energy. You know, I don't have kids yet, but like give the same energy I would give my kids to these kids, and want and hope for the best for them. And I guess that kind of like, yeah, it changes a little bit, but at the end of the day, you know, with your girlfriend, with your family, it's like the giving of yourself, the respect and admiration to like want someone to feel like you really, well, to know that you really like would do anything for them, and you would not only like die for them, but live for them, and kind of like do what it takes to find out how to help them, and like learn what you would need to learn to make their experience better, their self-worth higher. You know, that comes with a lot of work, but I feel like that's the only way, you know, you can genuinely love, is to like continually be editing. Okay, I got to like figure this out. I got to like try to help them in this regard. And you could be wrong, but I think it's that drive, it's that fuel that's like the love. That's what's going to keep it, you know, going. It's not just like saying it, but it's like you have to be constantly like injecting love into those relationships, or else I guess it could like dry up. Like, it's funny because we all say like, oh, never stop loving you. It's like, well, maybe you mean that, but maybe you don't do it, you know?
Derek, what's next for you?
I think it's a big year for my business to try to really like grow it and see where we're gonna move into in terms of space or more, you know, camps, experiences, and kind of like double down on that. It's been a good first solo year, but yeah, really push on the business. And then, yeah, for me, there's always like some crazy travel goals on the horizon. So I think I'm going to climb Mount Washington in April, which still has some snow on it, which is like not crazy, but fun. Try to snowboard a little bit more this April up there, backcountry. And then, yeah, the summer I'm stoked for like, you know, those random day trips to the beach. Trying to, last year went to Brazil and Costa Rica, like on a whim. So, you know, dream something up. I'll definitely be in Europe this summer, at least once. Try to bounce around.
Where can we find you?
So my first ever social media account is the business. It's called dtrain.official. It's run by my girlfriend. But yeah, it's, you know, got us and all the kids in it every day. So it's very like player forward, trying to highlight their goals, their moments, their training. It's not me looking at the camera like eating breakfast, I promise. So yeah, it's been cool. It's been fun. We do a lot of like cool things with like, you know, dropping the goals of the week, stuff like that. So I think the kids have really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. And then, yeah, if you want to come train with us, we're in Horsham right now, and we go, you know, pretty much every club, Delco, Penn Fusion, PDA, Union Academy. Like, if you're in any of those areas, come by, try one out. And then camps in the summer are pretty big. They run all summer, and then we do Fridays in Avalon down the shore in the summer too. So that's a vibe for sure. Yeah, hit us up.
Derek, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was awesome. Thanks, Chris.